Hello, this video shows how to customize UMA characters by swapping between a reasonable selection of faces, hair and modern clothes, which are available in a set of assets on the Unity Asset Store. My name is David Roberts and I'm from Shared Realities Limited, and I use these characters within the context of communication in the metaverse. A good place to start is looking at the assets that we're going to use on Asset Store. So to start with, we're going to be using UMA 2 Unity Multipurpose Avatar from the UMA steering group, and from this we're going to be using a character called DCS human. So we're going to be putting clothes onto this. The clothing pack here I've chosen is from the Salus Games. I wanted a modern clothing pack, so modern clothing, a good selection of this. And while I've tried others, this is the one that seems to be the easiest to get working with other assets and also, for that matter, virtual reality. And then we've got 3 assets from Will Be Games, and the first one is the face pack, the second one is the hair pack, and then we're going to add some necklaces, and the reason for this will become obvious as we move forward. So let's start by looking at what we've got in the scene and what we need to do within our UMA global library. I've adapted this scene from one of the standard demo scenes available within UMA 2 asset, and the important part of that I really wanted to copy was this UMA glib, but I've changed the atlas resolution and initial scale factor here to take advantage of the high resolution textures available in the face pack. So I've selected 8192 for an atlas, and I've made sure the initial scale factor is 1. Sometimes this is set to 2. I don't think I've changed anything else. With the environment, this is just very simple. As you can see, I've just added the company logo, moved the camera and added 3 DCS characters. The next thing I want to talk about is adding these assets to the UMA global library. If you don't do this, when you try and add one of the items from these assets, say a new hairstyle or a new t-shirt, then it's more than likely your character will just disappear. So if you have a suddenly invisible character, check that you've added the all the parts to the UMA global library. So how do we do this? Well, if we go back here, we'll see I've got, for example, the Sales Games directory there. I go to UMA, open global library, and then I'll drag one of the parent directories over into this first box on the left. So I've already done this, so if I want to check that I have, let's have a look inside some of these, and what I'm seeing here is the assets for the hair, the faces, etc., and there for the clothes. So they're already added. So this is very important. If you don't do this and you try and add an item to UMA, it's not in the library, probably your character will simply disappear. Okay, so the next step is let's get rid of these characters that I've already created, and let's start a new one. And we'll keep things simple. Call this one character, and I'm going to add a dynamic character avatar, and I'm going to select, let's try a male DCS. Okay, he's being quite rude at the moment, so let's select a suit. So as you see, this is from the Sales Games clothing pack, UMA assets, male wardrobe, suits, male suit version 2, 3. Let's turn them around. There you go. And the suits actually come with everything included, so the shoe, even including the shoes, the shirt and tie, etc. So it's a quick way of making your character more decent. And this just works straight away with the DCS characters. It's also quite happy with a human male race. And now I'm going to try to add some hair. So if I select in here, type in hair, first one's all female. So down here I have some male hair, selection of male hair examples, and we've added this one. Okay. So nothing's happened. Why hasn't anything happened? This is because we haven't told the hair recipe that it's compatible with this DCS character. It's actually been set up for the male to athletic race. The problem is the clothing pack doesn't fit the mesh for the athletic 2 body, and what we're trying to do today is use these assets with the least possible amount of work. So what I've done is find a character that reasonably works with all of them, and the DCS character seems to be a reasonable fit to all of them. But we've got a problem that our male hair 11 doesn't know it's compatible. So if I type in male hair 11 and I select the recipe, what I need to do is drag the DCS race over to here. So now I have to find it, and once I eventually found the right one, we have the hair. Okay, it's looking quite white at the moment, but we can mess around with that later. So I've got some hair. We're now going to try to change the face. So I make sure I'm on the right character. So type in head, gives us a selection of heads. Now strangely in this pack, most of the male heads are called heads and most of the female ones are called faces. So if I wanted to search for female head, I'll do face. This gives us the majority of the male heads here by doing head. Some of them are face. So let's choose one. Try, oh no, that's an elf. Don't really want an elf. That's head 2. Let's try head 1. Okay. So that's what I've done, head 4. Let's try head 1. Can't see any change. I look here and I'm not seeing human male DCS in that list of compatible races, whereas I see it for the 2 that we've got working. So we're going to have a look again, use a similar method to before, or same method as before. I'm going to look at mhead 01 recipe. We're now going to look for our DCS male race, and we've moved it over. So great, we've got a new face, but if you look closely, something's gone wrong. And what's happened here is that we haven't got rid of the old face. So to get rid of these unwanted artifacts, we need to remove the face, the original face. We're going to go over here, make sure the wardrobe slot of face is selected, and then we're going to select the M-high poly head for the human male DCS, and we're going to cross our fingers and hope it works. So I've now selected the character again, and we're going to see if we can change the colour of the hair and the eyes. Sorry, selecting the wrong thing here. Character colour, let's try eyes. Let's say we want green eyes. And want to let's have some metallic gloss. Okay, Let's see what happens when we try and do the hair. And it's worked. So why did I buy a necklace pack? At the moment we're wearing a suit with a high collar. Let's change the suit for a long shirt and some baggy pants. So again, we're lucky, we don't have a problem. The neck is looking good. Now let's say we want to change it for let's try shirt 2. Now we see a problem. So the skin colour isn't a good match, and we've got a gap around. Now it's possible to sort both these things out if you've got lots of time on your hands. Assuming you haven't, a quick fix for some of this is to use the necklaces. But again, we try and use it, and unsurprisingly it's incompatible, so we need to tell it it's compatible with human DCS male. So we're going to search for the bead necklace. Okay, I'm going to search again for DCS male, move that over, and we've got a necklace. So obviously the skin is not exactly the same, but the great big hole has disappeared, and it's nowhere near as noticeable. If I want to try and better match the skin between the face and the torso, if I go into the male head recipe, I'm going to add a slot here, and this slot is going to be for the male torso, and then within the slot I'm going to add an overlay. If I type in body, hopefully it's this one. Okay, so this has given us an overlay with textures, etc., that go with the head, but the colour match is not so good, or it's all gone horribly wrong. Now this is because it's using a different material. So you'll see that the one that we've just added is using the UMA SSS material. Whereas by default the DCS is using the UMA normal metallic. So we need to change this to the USS material. Okay. Okay, go back and check that the textures are looking correct. Sometimes it's a very good idea to deselect the character, select it again, make sure it's all correctly loading. So our skin colour is still looking completely wrong. So let's go back into our head one and see if we can work out what's going on. So if we select use shared colour, it's now picking that colour up from here. So if we change the skin colour here, you see it's using this shared colour as the head is. Not a particularly nice colour, so I'll move it back down again. So that the texture and the shading and everything is now matching. It's a little bit better, but the colour still isn't matching. And the problem that you've got there is that the texture's a slightly different colour. So what can you do about this? You can waste huge amounts of time trying to get it right. So if I don't use the standard colour, I can try and match my colour. This is where you need a huge amount of patience. But remember, this is no longer linked to the shared colours. So once I've made all the changes and tried to run things, on that occasion I was unlucky and it wouldn't run. I looked for all the usual problems, didn't really see any, and so I reloaded or re-imported the UMA2 and put the other assets back into the global library, and that's brought us here. So we're going to run things. You'll notice that if this works, UMA will add an animator onto here for us. As you see the avatar in the corner, and there's our character. Everything seems to be working fine. So I hope you found this video helpful. It took me a while to work out how to do this, and in particular to find a character, a race that was a reasonable fit to both the clothes and the faces. So anyway, thank you for watching, and have fun with your UMA characters. Goodbye.